we might as well get cracking then. I've got myself fully prepared. I even have all of the ingredients. Everything down to the bay leaves. I never have bay leaves in. Anyway, so butter in pan, warm pan, add lamb. There's the first step. It's 60 grams. A lot of butter in this. Right, so butter's nice and hot. Now, I'm using the lamb that I got yesterday from Asda, so it was frozen diced lamb. So I actually don't know what the cut is. It should hopefully be shoulder. Medium-high heat, we're browning it off, just let it sort of start its cooking process. So I just need to get everything else prepped really, so carrot, celery. And that celery is something we don't use often, and actually we should, because it's got a great texture and taste in things like this. So adding celery into bolognese. People sort of just use celery as something to eat cream cheese with, but actually it's a great ingredient. My lamb is pretty cooked now, it's pretty golden. So I'm going to take that out, obviously leave in the pan all of the fat. I've just got my veggies washing in a minute. While my veggies are sweating down, I'm just going to get my garlic sorted out. I've got my swede just parboiling behind me. That won't take long either. It's in such tiny little cubes. Right, so after they're looking like there was a lot of butter and oil in the pan, after the veggies have cooked away in it, it's pretty much disappeared. So I've just turned it down so I don't overcook the veggies. So it should be at a lower heat now as well, you don't want a high heat now. Right, and then tomato puree. I had to buy this specially because we don't normally have tomato puree, yeah? So tomato paste is in, garlic's in, and then the lamb's going back in with all of the juices. Beautiful. Okay, so here we go. We've got two more things to go in. The swede can go in towards the end, as in sort of, because it's obviously been parboiled, it goes in for that period where it's going to cook. So the two other main ingredients are the tomatoes and the stock. I'm using passata. I'm also using homemade stock. However, here's another bonus from Asda. This is their chicken stock, which is pretty damn clean. I think the only ingredient in here was sugar is the very final ingredient, and it's 98% chicken stock. So there are several other ingredients in along there. It's only half a gram of carbs per 100 grams or per 100 mils. You ain't using that much. So it's actually, I haven't found another stock like this anywhere, so whether it's just Asda that sort of have it made for themselves, but that's really good. Roast chicken stock. The beef one's got a couple more ingredients in it, but a chicken stock in here would be fine. I've got a beef stock, that one of my own homemade ones. It's quite strong, so I'm not using as much of it. The recipe calls for a couple of 100 mils. Mine's just over 100 because it's a stronger stock. So let's add the tomatoes as well, and then we can just let it cook for a few minutes while we get the other bits and pieces sorted out. So over a medium heat, just so it doesn't bubble away too much and make too much of a mess. So whilst that's cooking down a little bit, a couple of other ingredients to go in there. Get away, for God's sake. Bay leaf and parsley with the stalk. So I've got some flat leaf parsley and bay leaf. These are just like the added bits, the next layer of flavour. A couple of bay leaves. A handful of fresh parsley. Right, and I've got my parboiled swede as well. I'm going to pop that in now. Now I suppose one thing we haven't done is add any salt or pepper. Now I know that my bone broth has got a fair amount of salt in it already. and I suppose any stock cube would also contain salt, so just be careful, don't over salt it. I've added a little bit of salt, and I'm adding a good amount of pepper just to give it a bit of a kick. Let's just make sure I don't drop it. There you go.